Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is Maggie,
And this is Penny.
and we are Gen X Living Life. And we're going to be talking today about how we met way back in the Wayback Machine. We're going to talk about when we were 6 and 7 years old
Mhm.
in elementary school at PS 2011 in
In New
New York
York,
City.
Hell's
That's right.
Kitchen. Yeah.
Hell's Kitchen, in the heart of Hell's
Mhm.
Kitchen. And that's where we grew up and that's where we met. And we've been friends ever since.
Yeah. Yep. We don't live there anymore, but we just kept in touch this whole time. You know, I do remember it was second grade, right? Miss Friedman's class.
Miss Friedman's
Yeah.
class, yes.
Right. Yeah.
And we met there in the playground.
Hmm.
Because that's when you had a chance to socialize. You know,
Right.
you couldn't. It was very strict and disciplined in the classroom.
Yeah.
So we were a quiet bunch.
Right. I
But
think
yeah,
you were seven, right? And I was probably six because I have like a December birthday. But
mhm.
I remember we always played house and we would always make you the dad because you were so tall. And you were taller than all of us, right? So you were always the dad. And then one day you
I had
said
a
to
growth
us,
spurt.
yeah, definitely in second grade. And then, so one day you said, why do I always have to be the dad? I want to be something else. And then that day I learned something, as a second grader, you know,
Yeah.
some people don't like to be the dad all the time. We have to switch up and change. So that lesson stayed with me forever, to be
Uh,
fair. Yeah.
yeah, to switch up the roles a little bit,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
because that doesn't mean just because we had a look doesn't mean that that was the role we wanted to
Right.
play. Not that I
Exactly.
look like a boy or anything. I was just taller than everybody
You
else
were. You were.
for some odd reason, and now I'm shorter than
Yeah.
everybody else.
I think you're a
I
little
stopped
shorter
growing.
than me now. Just a little bit.
I stopped growing at 6th grade, and
Uh,
then in 7th grade, everybody was taller than
right,
me.
right. I know, I
Yeah.
know. So who was your favorite teacher in PS 111?
And PS 111 was my 5th grade teacher, Mrs.
Yeah,
Nadelhaft.
mine too. Mine
Mrs.
too.
Yeah, she was
Yeah.
just so relaxed and
Hmm.
so sweet and very friendly. And yeah, she talked to the kids as though they were not a bunch of little monsters or anything like
That we
that
were.
that needed, that hard discipline.
Right.
She used the soft discipline
Hmm.
to make you want to be obedient and do your work and that sort of thing. She made teaching a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Mrs. Needlehaft, I have a picture of her here
Oh, you
actually,
do.
class
Yeah,
pictures.
she's gorgeous.
Yeah, she's
You have to
gorgeous.
describe her for people that can't see the picture.
If for those that can see the picture, I'm going to describe her first, and then you tell me if I'm wrong. Now, personality wise, there's no way that you'd know the
Right.
personality.
Mhm.
She was Edith Bunker and Peggy Bundy at the same time. Her personality was sweet and syrupy and just lovely. Edith Bunker, she even sounded like Edith
Yeah,
Bunker.
yeah, that's what
But
she reminded
her
of.
her look and her mannerisms were totally Peggy Bundy. So
Yes. A
I'm gonna see if I can.
sophisticated Peggy Bundy, though.
Yeah, she oh yeah, here it is. Hold on a second. Oh gosh.
Oh my goodness.
She's right here.
Her hair, yeah, her hair is done
Her hair,
perfectly.
the bouffant red hair.
Yes.
But then the very sweet
Hmm.
disposition. We're going to put this up on our Instagram.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know if we should put the whole class, Penny, or if we should just maybe zero in
I
on
can
Miss
zero in
Needlehalf.
on her. Yeah, that's
Okay,
because,
so I'm
yeah,
going to do that. I'll send that to you, and then we'll put that up
yeah,
there.
she's
And
just the best.
she she was my favorite
Yeah,
of
me
all
too.
time, out of all my teachers, even when I went to high school.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, we just had such a nice relationship.
We did. I remember her the best. Yeah, and then after that was sixth grade, Mr. Levy.
That
He,
was a contrast.
yeah, yeah, totally. He was very stoic, you know.
Very very stoic. He had this expression all the time, like, "This is the year I'm retiring."
Yes,
I've
he
had it.
did. He did. That's
I've
right.
had it with these awful kids.
That's right. That's right. And he could throw erasers with amazing accuracy. I just that's the one thing that I was amazed at.
Has he hit you with an eraser?
Huh? What was
Has
that?
he hit you with an
No,
eraser?
no, no, he didn't. But anybody that was talking wasn't paying attention. All of
Those
a
usually the
sudden,
boys.
yeah, usually the boys. Yeah, I don't think
Yeah,
he hit any girls. I don't remember that.
no, no. It's usually the boys that got it.
Yeah,
But I think the boys looked forward to that
yeah,
too.
they deserved it.
They deserved it, but I think they look forward to it.
Oh my goodness. Just to see him
So
get all angry, right? To see him get
just to get all
upset.
angry. But I don't know if you remember toward the end of the school year, I don't know if it was because it was his birthday. Uh, we got wind that it was, I think, his birthday, and we got together
Oh,
with our mothers and we got him a cake. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that. I just remember we used to do like teachers' birthdays, like when they were at lunch, we would put like balloons and stuff, like decorate the classroom. I remember that.
Yeah.
But what happened with the cake?
We
Was he
brought
happy? Did
I
he
don't know,
smile?
he was moved. He
Oh,
he was in tears. And it
oh,
was, I mean, that was the first time I think that we've ever softened up. We saw him soften up because he was always stoic and stern.
no emotion. Yeah.
Yeah, no, very little or anger.
Yeah, that's right. That's true.
It was usually pretty, but, he was just physically moved 'cause and it was a total surprise, and other teachers knew about it, but they kept the secret, and, it was a nice, beautiful big cake, and he
Oh,
opened up like he goes, "And no one's ever done this before to me
oh,
for me," and he was so happy.
oh. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad. See,
Uh,
I have no recollection of that at all. Maybe I was absent that day.
yeah, maybe, but yeah, there was a group, that, that we put that together, and, he enjoyed that, and that was nice because then after that, being in his class wasn't so bad because we saw that, "Oh, okay, he could be nice," and those were the days where you didn't know anything about your teacher.
Right. Right. There were just these people, that were just at school and
Yeah, you
yeah.
didn't know it not like today where some teachers wanna show their about their private lives and about their kids and their spouse and all of that stuff. It
True.
was just if you saw your teacher out in the street, that was just weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Or on the bus or something. Yeah, it's true. It's like, hey, that's my teacher.
"That's my teacher.
Yeah.
What are they let her out of the cage or something."
It's so weird to see them out of the classroom setting. Like they actually do stuff just like us, They
Mhm.
go shopping for food.
Yeah,
They go to the
there were
store.
they're actually people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have actual lives.
So anyway, just for interest, the year that our class picture was taken for 2nd grade, the year we met, was 1974.
Oh, right.
So, yeah,
Interesting.
that's in
That's
the heart of Gen X.
yes.
We were born, in 1966. So that is in the early years of Generation X, which started in 1965.
Right.
So we were, in the 2nd grade in 1974 and, in New York City, um, and that was a time. That was a time.
Yes. A very unique
Growing
time.
Yeah, and then, after Mr. Levy, he was our 6th grade teacher. Um, the way that it was structured, you finished elementary school in 6th grade. I think that's different now, I believe. And then we did, I think it's 7th and 8th grade, was PS 17,
Oh yeah,
junior
junior
high
high school
school.
17. It was actually seventh, eighth, and ninth.
Or was it ninth
Yeah,
also?
also,
Okay,
yeah.
and then you went to whatever high school you
Right.
wanted to go.
hmm
And those were magnet schools, weren't they? So you picked the school that you wanted to go depending on what they were teaching. Is that right?
Kind of, yeah. There was Norma Thomas, which was like more business geared. There was Julia Richmond that I went to, which had a nursing program. I wasn't
Okay.
in the nursing program, but I think there was Printing High School, which obviously I
Yeah,
guess is for printing, and then Brandeis High School is kind of like a catch-all, kind of school.
that was just a basic
Yeah, I
average
think
high
so. I
school.
could be
Yeah,
wrong, but I think they had programs there too. I'm not familiar with the programs that they had there.
okay.
Yeah.
And then there was the, School of the Arts that
Yes,
was,
performing
made
arts.
famous by Fame.
Yes, yes. And then my high
Uh,
school, Julie Richmond, also had talent unlimited at the end of the day.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay. Well, I didn't go to high school in New York City. I made it as far as the middle
of eighth
term of the
grade.
eighth grade.
Yeah, I
Uh-huh.
remember that.
And
Yeah.
the high school was called LaSalle Junior
High
High
school
School.
17.
I guess, and I think that that was named after the explorer LaSalle, I believe.
I have no idea.
Our elementary school was named after the founder of the New York Times,
Right.
Adolph
Oaks.
Ox.
Yeah.
Oaks,
OCHS. Yeah.
Ochs. So I think it was pronounced ox, like an oxen or something, but um, which nobody has heard of.
Right.
As little kids were like, "Who's that?" So, but at one time, The Wiz, which had Diana Ross and Michael Jackson, Nipsey Russell,
Yeah.
um, that was filmed in a studio across the street from our elementary
Right.
school. And all of the trailers were parked alongside of the schoolyard. And we were hoping that we could get a glimpse of Michael Jackson.
Or
Uh,
anybody. Yeah.
Anybody but Michael Jackson, that he was the closest to our age group, really. He was probably maybe
Like a
10
teenager.
years older than
Yeah.
us. Yeah, a teenager, maybe 20 years old. But he was a big star,
Yeah.
naturally. That was young. And Diana Ross was famous too. But, being girls, we wanted to see Michael Jackson, and we never saw anybody.
No,
We
just the trailers.
just the trailers, and we didn't know whose trailer belonged to whose.
Right.
So, but yeah, The Wiz was filmed in the studio across the street, which is what, 53rd Street
Yeah,
or
between
51st
52nd
Street
and 53rd on 10th Avenue.
on 10th Avenue. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
crazy.
that was about the closest to show business I ever got to any star, but not seeing him at
Right,
all. It's just
right.
being across the street. I probably was closer and never knew it
Yeah, yeah, we
based on
wouldn't.
where we were. Yeah.
Probably, probably. But
We
I know you
mhm.
left in eighth grade, but do you remember Miss Latour in seventh grade?
Yep, I
She
remember
was
she was so
so
nice.
sweet. I really liked her.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and do you remember, Mr. Economides?
Yes, he's like Greek math
Yeah.
teacher.
What a character. If I could describe Mr. Economides looked like Tom Selleck with straight hair. If
Yeah,
Tom Selleck had straight hair, he'd look like Mr.
and probably
Economides.
like a foot shorter.
Yeah, about
Maybe.
that, yeah, but the same look,
Yeah.
and he chain smoked like crazy. So
Oh,
when we were all in the schoolyard, he was smoking,
oh, see,
watching
I
the
didn't know
kids and
that.
smoking cigarettes. Mhm.
But he was like all muscular and stuff, like all built, and he
It
would
was
wear his
very
shirts tight, kind of tight.
yeah,
And
in the Greek fashion,
right.
but he was very fit,
Yeah.
I thought he was very handsome, but he talked like this.
Yeah.
"My name is Mr. Economides, and I teach mathematics." And he was stern too.
Yeah, he was stern.
He was stern. And then Mr. Roth, he was
Oh,
science. You
yeah.
remember him?
The
And
math, oh,
he
science
was
teacher.
very laid back. Science, yes.
Yeah.
And he was very laid back, and he would sit on, the counter and teach and this and that. And then there was Mr. Epstein.
Oh,
Not not that Mr.
not that
Epstein,
one, a different one.
a different one. He
Right.
taught history,
Yeah,
social studies history.
that's right.
Oh, I think he was, a war veteran, from
Possibly.
Vietnam because he had a prosthetic hand that, was everyone said it was made of wax, but I guess it was plastic. But it was made of wax, so, he was always holding it, in front of him, like, pressed toward his chest because he couldn't do anything with it.
Right. Or he'd have it in his briefcase. Like he had a briefcase on the table and he would put that particular arm inside, that hand inside,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So,
So, but he was a big personality too.
with the big
He
glasses. Yeah.
Yeah, he was very loud
Yeah.
and, mhm. Okay, yeah, Mr. Epstein, he did keep, a briefcase and, sometimes, he would just remove it, and that was on breaks. I mean, not
Yeah.
that many people saw that, but
Yeah.
I don't know if he was conscious of it or if he just lived with it, but he was just himself. He was a
Yeah.
character. Yeah. So at first he was intimidating because he was tall.
This tall guy, yeah.
Yeah. And that was during the TV show Welcome Back Cotter, where Epstein was one of the sweat hogs.
Yes, yes, that skinny
Yeah.
little guy.
So yeah, so we're like, oh, that's a real name, Epstein. We actually know an Epstein.
Right.
So
Another Epstein, a famous one, right?
yeah. So who else was in school? Was it music? Um,
Oh, Mr. Martin.
Mr. Martin from music, and that was a
Yeah, that was a
character.
character. You played clarinet like I did, right?
Yeah, yeah. Let me describe Mr. Martin. If
Yeah.
anybody remembers the Dick Van Dyke Show, and the guy who played Buddy, uh, who worked with Dick Van Dyke, his name was Maury Amsterdam. That's who he
Yeah.
reminded me of
Yeah.
physically.
That's a good description, definitely.
Yeah. So, and he was, oh boy, he that man needed to retire.
Mhm.
He was always exasperated. We played the best that we could as, as 12-year-olds can play.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I have a
So,
story about him too, because when he would get all riled up and get mad at us, and so
mhm,
he would yell, and when he yelled, he would spit, all right?
mhm.
So for the flute section was in right in front of him, but you and I, we were to his left and then the
Yeah.
windows to his right. So, you had this view where you could see the spit just flying, and these poor girls in the flute section, they were in the in the spray
In the
zone.
s in the spray zone. He
It
was
was
making
so
it rain
bad.
up in there.
So, I felt so bad for them.
Oh, golly. Yeah. Yeah, he was, he was something, and he was
Yeah.
always yelling.
Yes. Yeah.
He was always yelling, and I don't know how many batons he broke, you know, trying to make us stop playing instead of doing which makes you stop.
Stop.
He's like
Yeah. He
he would
just
just bang on his baton on the podium. "Stop, stop. Damn it, stop."
that was a fun
It's like
class.
he would just shake his head all the time. Is like, "How am I gonna get through this day?
Right?
How am I gonna get through this class?"
But somehow we learned. I don't know how we learned. I mean, we played like Pomp and Circumstance when the upper classes graduated. We played
Yeah,
Mozambique. I'm trying to think of what other songs, but we actually, at least we thought we sounded good, but we probably really didn't.
right. If you're viewing us on YouTube, these lovely little girls is us the year that we met in
Second
second
grade.
grade.
Yep.
So if you are not watching us, you can follow us on Instagram, and we will have those photos posted for you to view. And hopefully, you'll leave a like, subscribe, and a review if you are listening as a podcast. If you've ever traveled to New York City and you've been in the heart of New York in Manhattan, Midtown, and you've gone to Times Square, Central Park, watched a play, gone to 30 Rock, gone to the Empire State Building, that is our neighborhood.
Yeah.
That is what we grew up in
Yep.
doing.
Midtown.
And Midtown. So we walked all over that and saw what we took for granted. You all paid big
Right.
money to see,
That's true. Yeah,
and
Central
we took
Park was
that
our
for granted.
backyard, really.
Central
Yeah.
Park was our backyard, and we went to a lot of places that were field trips. We've gone to see the symphony. We've gone to see, I
We
think,
saw The
a
Wiz.
musical.
We actually saw The Wiz,
Mhm,
the movie. Yeah.
exactly. So and then we just to get to each other's homes, we just cross all those landmarks just to get there by foot.
Yeah.
And if you remember being in New York City, those city blocks are incredibly long. So imagine little legs like ours as children on our own, uh, getting around,
Yeah. Yeah. We didn't get
as nine,
kidnapped or
10-year-olds.
anything, thank God. Yeah.
Now there are too many witnesses out
Yeah,
there.
right. Right. I know.
But we visited Central Park a whole lot. That was to me, I was so cityfied, that Central Park to me was the country.
Right. Yeah, my favorite part of Central Park was the rocks,
That
climbing on
was
the
a lot
rocks.
of fun. The playground and the rocks and the zoo
Yeah.
and those seats at the zoo.
Right, right.
Yeah.
The rocks were they were fun for us, but now when I look back on it, it looks so dangerous. It's just,
Last time I went to New York with the boys were younger. We went to Central Park to take them there, and they didn't care at all about the playground. They went for the rocks. And I tried to climb the rocks, and I'm like, how did I do this? But they were climbing,
yeah.
like they were born to
Like
do
yeah,
it.
it was natural for them, just like they were walking on the regular ground, right? Just running around.
But it was natural for us when we were
Yeah,
little
as you're a
as
kid.
well. But that was a whole lot of fun walking around, and it was so peaceful there.
That's
Uh,
right.
and so I enjoyed going to the park a whole lot. And that was the park is at 59th Street.
And
So that
Broadway, yeah.
and yeah, so I lived on 49th, so that was a full 10
It was a
blocks.
long way. It
It
was
was
a
a long way. You were a
journey.
bit closer,
I was
weren't
only
you?
4 blocks away
Yeah,
on
you were a lot
Broadway.
closer then.
Yeah,
And, also on the same side, we didn't have to you didn't have to cross
correct. Yeah.
8th Avenue.
Right. It was just I just walked straight, down to Columbus Circle because I was just 4 blocks from Columbus Circle. Yeah, but where you lived, you were across the street from the old Madison Square Garden, right? That
Yeah,
one of like maybe the second site or something like that, or the third
yeah.
site. Yeah.
There's a huge residential skyscraper there
Yeah.
now, but at the time that I was living there, it was a parking lot, and it was an enormous parking lot.
It took the whole block. It was a whole block.
It was
Yeah.
a whole block, and whenever it snowed and the school was closed for snow days, we would go to the parking lot and play in the snow.
Yeah.
Because nobody
That's
was in the city,
right.
so we had that whole parking lot to play in the snow. We had the best time there, and it
Yeah.
was safe because it was fenced in,
Right.
and either my mom went or one of the other moms in the building, and then we would go as a group, and the moms would take turns being out there
Watching.
watching. Yeah, and so we would do everything. We would make a snowman, we would do snow angels, we would have snowball fights, just jumping around. We had a great time there. We had fun. And what else did we do? You were born, didn't you say that you were
Oh,
born in
I
a
was
hospital
yeah,
nearby?
I was born at Roosevelt Hospital, which is on
Yeah.
59th and Ninth. So my mom, when her water broke, she basically walked to the hospital in the
In
winter.
the winter, it gets brutally cold in New York City.
Yes, it
And
does. It does. And you were born, where were you born at?
we were born, I was born, well, my brother too, at Polyclinic Hospital, which is not there
Oh,
anymore.
right.
But I think it was a very old hospital, and that was on 50th Street and 8th Avenue.
Yeah, between 8th and Ninth, I think, right? Yeah, which is
Yeah.
just like across the street, kind of across the parking lot for you guys.
The other side of the parking lot.
Yeah.
We
Oh,
were there.
wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, and then there's also the Ninth Avenue Festival
Oh,
that
love it.
occurs every May. That was a big deal for us.
Yeah.
We we all would meet up and ride rides. Our parents would give us money,
Yeah.
and that way we could ride rides. And there was food from
Yeah.
all countries. Well, not all countries, but from a
A,
lot of
a lot
places.
of places. Yeah. I think the favorite
Yeah,
part for me for Ninth Avenue Festival was seeing friends that I hadn't seen for almost a year, because I went to PAL, which is a summer camp. Did you go to PAL also? Or,
I did the
yeah.
PAL.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
that's the Police Athletic
yeah.
League.
Yeah. So we
Police,
would
police,
there, right, we would see kids also from like Sacred Heart or Holy Cross. So it's really the
right.
kids from Hell's Kitchen, the neighborhood. So at
Yeah, the
the
neighborhood kids.
yeah, yeah. So at the Ninth Avenue Festival, that's where I got to see these people again because we all went to different schools,
Mhm.
and year after year we all kind of grew a little bit, look a little
Oh,
different.
yeah. So it's a nice time to catch up
Yeah.
with everybody and see how they're doing, and oh, yeah, but that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I remember, one of our classmates, and I got together and decided to have a lemonade stand. You weren't there,
Oh,
And her mother was just like, "You're not gonna sell anything." And so we put together a picture of Kool-Aid, and we stood there, and people were passing us by, and here we were selling lemonades, and nobody bought from us, so we just drank it. And then her mother was out looking from her window, and she had that,
Yeah.
"Dummies,
I didn't
I
know
told
about
you."
that.
She had
So
this
funny.
expression like, "I told you. It's a waste of time. No one's gonna buy anything from you."
It was a good idea, though. At least you were entrepreneurial even at that age.
Yeah, yeah. We were trying to hustle, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
We were what, 11 maybe? 10 or 11 years old, trying to do that hustle with lemonade, and, that was a flop, so that lasted maybe an hour.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
business failed in an hour.
Yeah, the Ninth Avenue Festival is 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. So I
Mhm.
guess that was Saturday, and then like Sunday, you just like hung out at the festival after that, probably.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a
So,
fun thing. Yeah.
but yeah. But, the nice thing is that you could walk home, take a break, and then go back because it was right there.
Right, right. They still have it now. They
Mhm.
call it Ninth Avenue Food Festival. But yeah, I went one year, a few years ago. I didn't see too many people, but it was, kind of the same kind of setup,
They
with all the food and everything.
they had carnival rides back then too,
Yeah,
you
yeah, and
remember?
also those booths where you shoot the water and it pops a balloon, those carnival games. Yeah,
Yeah,
it has
yeah.
those kind of things too.
It
So,
was terrific, and it's
yeah.
every May.
I
I
think
think it's
it's
the 2nd week of
I
May,
think it's the
usually.
weekend after Mother's Day, I
Yeah.
believe. Yeah.
I'm sure that if you go on Google and look it
It'll
up,
tell
Ninth
you.
Avenue
Yeah.
Food Festival, you'll find it, but if you're visiting New York around that time, that is fun, and that
Yes.
you can see how the neighborhood parties as opposed to the touristy
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
That's a non-tourist side destination,
Yeah.
I think, in New York,
Right.
if you happen to be there.
And you happen to see how
So,
the neighborhood really is, and yeah,
yeah,
it's a lot of fun.
so mhm, exactly. You get to see the locals having a good time.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah. So, but, yeah, we would take the train. We would take the subways on our own.
Yeah, like Coney Island was a big destination because that
That's
was the
right.
last stop on the N or the R. And we always tried to get to the very first car so we could look out the window,
Yeah,
because the train would
e
go outside and you can see, the city. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, it was, and that was a long
it
ride. That
is.
would be about an hour
Hour,
to get out there.
at least, at
So, but
least.
my dad owned a grocery store on Coney Island.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
See, that's why I
and,
never saw
him and
your
my uncle.
dad. It's always.
Yeah, I never saw my dad either, because he had to commute all the way to Coney Island every
Oh.
day, uh, because my aunt and uncle lived in Brooklyn, and so they got the idea, and then they went on in on it together, and we lived in Manhattan, so he had a much further commute than my uncle did.
Right.
So but we would go like maybe twice in the summer because it was such a long way, and then we would visit him first, and then when we were done, then we would visit him before we took the train back, and he would give us soda and snacks and that kind of thing from the store, and I mean he'd pay for it, but that was nice, and then we go home.
Oh.
Yeah, it would be a nice long day because we would spend a long day there.
Right. I mean, if
Bring
you
a
go that far, you have to spend the whole day, right? So that wraps up our episode of How We Met.
Thank you for joining us. And please, if you like content like this, please follow us, hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment if you want us to cover any topics regarding Generation X. And also, we have podcasts as well, Spotify, iTunes, and other places where podcasts are recorded. And we appreciate you joining us today. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.